Hi everyone, it's Rose and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my unpopular, maybe controversial bookish opinions. So I have a list of them on my phone and I'm going to go into a bit of detail with you guys. I do just want to say, first of all, everyone's opinion is valid. If you agree or disagree with me, that is fine. I'm not attacking you. Please don't attack me. And also, some of these are not like, wow, that's shocking. They're more like the community is kind of split 50-50 on what people prefer with their books. And I'm just going to tell you what side I'm on. But I think some of these are kind of random and I haven't heard people talk about it that much. So maybe they are unpopular and maybe I'm going to annoy some people, but I hope not. Let's start with one of the easier ones. Let's just ease into this. I prefer physically reading hardcovers over paperbacks. Now, don't get me wrong, I probably own maybe 20 hardbacks in my whole collection of something like 600 books, but that is because of expense. Hardcovers are so much more expensive than paperbacks or reading on my Kindle, so I just buy the paperbacks. If I want to just sit and physically read a book, I prefer hardcovers. And a lot of people don't like reading with hardcovers because they're too heavy or like you can't lay down and read. But when I lay down and read, I'm reading on my Kindle anyway, so when I like to sit and enjoy my book, I prefer a hardcover. It just feels like the experience is more magical, more enjoyable. What I mean about some of these being less out there, but we're gonna get to some more interesting ones. Another one that is, I think this is more unpopular if you're on Book Talk specifically, because a lot of Book Talk, the majority of them, either primarily enjoy romance or fantasy with romance in it. But don't get me wrong, I enjoy those books, but I will also happily enjoy books with zero romance in them. I'm a thriller girl. I love books with no romance in them. And I've seen a lot of people say they will read, if they're reading any genre, there has to be some little smidgen of romance in the book that they can focus on or like have in the back of their heads. I'm happy to read a book with nothing romantic in it at all. I also really enjoy looking at like how friendships are formed. So if there's a big friendship, that is just as important to me as a romance in a book, so I don't feel like I'm missing out. And a lot of people on Book Talk, more than BookTube, look for romance in books. Don't get me wrong, I'm really into rom-coms at the moment. I got really into fantasy in the winter, which is something I thought I would never enjoy. And now I'm really into rom-coms. Like, I like the romance, but I can enjoy a good book very easily without romance. And another one that I think is more 50-50 is I prefer reading on my Kindle over paperbacks. I have a lot of paperbacks because A, they're really pretty, B, I like buying books, which is a separate hobby to actually reading books. I enjoy both, but they are separate hobbies. And C, if I really like a book on my Kindle, I'm gonna get it as a trophy on my shelf. But in general, I read 5 times faster on my Kindle than I do a physical book. I saw someone in the comment section say that this was because when you're actually holding a physical book, it's so many words and there's so many pages and your brain gets overwhelmed and overstimulated, whereas on a Kindle, you can literally just see the page that you're reading with the amount of words you're reading. It's also probably something to do with, you know, screens controlling our brains or whatever, but I read a lot faster on my Kindle. Time goes a lot faster on my Kindle. I think that's because I am the type of person that will constantly put my bookmark back into my book and check to see how much progress I've made, to see where I can see the difference, whereas you can't really do that. All you can see on a Kindle is the percentage going up. But I like it. I also like the fact that you don't have to have a bigger light on to read, because I do not like the big light. I will sit with my LED lights low, just sitting with my Kindle, and that's how I really enjoy it. And you can also get comfortable. Sometimes I will purposefully not read a popular Book Talk book because of how much hate people get for voicing their opinions on it. Okay, so I love Book Talk. I get a lot of Book Talk book recs, and a lot of the time I will really enjoy them, so I'm happy to talk about them. But if there's a book that I've seen is like, oh, some people like and some people don't like, I'm probably not gonna, I will have it on my shelf. I guarantee it's probably on my shelf. I'm probably not gonna read it because I'm too scared to share my opinion, which is really sad. Or if I find a book that everyone on BookTok loves and I kind of have either neutral feelings or I don't really like it, I'm probably going to skim right over that in my review. I'll kind of say in my monthly wrap up, I did not like this one. Anyway, moving on. Because I just, you know, I love watching other people's negative reviews because it's like all your points are so valid. But I just get too nervous to share my own bookish opinions if it's not overly positive, which is something I really need to work on, but we're not there quite yet. This one, a lot of people are probably gonna disagree with me for this one. This is one of the less 50-50 split ways, and that is that I have never had any interest in watching book to movie adaptations or book to series adaptations. Let me give you some examples. The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy, I read that a few years ago. I really enjoyed it. Haven't watched the series, have no interest in watching the series. Same for the Six of Crows duology series. Same for all the movie adaptations, like The Flat Share, The Hating Game. Haven't watched any of them. I don't keep up to date with the movie adaptations that are coming out because I literally have no interest in them. Like, never gonna watch the It Ends With Us movie. I'm sure it's good. I just have no interest in that. And it's because in my head I can give these characters their own, you know, how they look, and like, for example, even like what their apartment looks like. It could have anything in my head, but then as soon as I watch the movie, I now have a set idea, and if it's wrong, it really messes with my depiction of certain things. If you ask me if I've watched an adaptation, if it's not The Hunger Games, it's probably gonna be a no. Think of books on my shelves that have adaptations, but I honestly couldn't even tell you whether I've watched them or not because I don't know if there even are any. Like Daisy Jones and the Six, I haven't actually read that book yet. It is on my TBR, but I'm scared to read it in case I don't like it. It's right there, but I will never watch the adaptation, even though people say it is so good. It's not happening. Next one is that I give out 5-star ratings very easily, and I kind of want to change that this year, but my like average rating for books so far this year is like 4.5, and there have been some 1-star books, so I'm rating a lot of books 5 stars. If I'm reading a book in one sitting, it's probably getting a 5-star because I'm entertained. If a book's making me cry, I'm probably going to rate it 5 stars because it's brought me to a certain emotion. It must be good writing. If a thriller has a crazy plot twist, it's probably getting the stars bumped up to a 5, even if I didn't like some of the other books. If it's like a single dad romance or something like that and the kid's really cute, it's probably getting a 5 stars. Like, I'm not the kind of person who saves their 5 stars for perfection, but I trust people who do that because then you know their recommendations are good. I wish I could be that person, but I'm giving out 5 stars based on vibes. The next one is that I enjoy 500+ page romance books. I've seen a lot of people talk about how there is no way a rom-com should be more than 400 pages max. I'm a fan of Lucy Score. She writes 600+ page rom-coms and I eat up every second of it. The Final Offer, read it in 2 days. It's 600 pages. I'm about to read Binding and Keeping 13. They are like 900 pages each. And there's like 4 books. I love it. Give me all the added detail. I don't get bored. I eat it up every single time. So the next ones I'm going to tell you about, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opinions on really popular BookTok books. So I'm going to tell you what the books are before I say it, and I will also tell you if I'm giving you any spoilers. So if you haven't read it and you don't want to know what I'm going to say, you can skip ahead. But the first one, there's no spoilers, it's for the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I want a book for Elaine. Everyone talks about how boring they think Elaine is, how she has nothing to add. I want to know what the hell was happening while Pharaoh was away. I'm trying not to spoil anything. What she went through, what happens in A Court of Silver Flames from her point of view. I need to know it all. I want a book for her. We got one for Nesta, I loved it. I need one for Elaine. Everyone else says she's boring. I don't think she's boring. I think we haven't seen enough of her. But that's just me. The next one I'm going to talk about is the After series. Again, have not watched any of the adaptations and never plan on it, but if you haven't read those books, you've probably seen the movies. the after Hardin Scott. It was based on fan fiction about Harry Styles. Anyway, they are here. If you don't want to know whether or not they end up together, skip ahead like 30 seconds, I guess. My unpopular opinion is they should not have ended up together. Toxic relationship. She deserves so much better. I don't care if he worked on himself. It took till the last 10% of the last book for them to get together. At that point, she had like not spoken to him in like 6 months. She'd moved on. She was out of the toxic relationship. Why did they end up together in the epilogue? No. I see so many hardened defenders. I don't care if you have trauma in your past. That is not an excuse to be abusive and controlling and manipulative yourself. They should not have lasted past book 1 when she found out what happened. I'ma calm down now. That is all I have to say. Okay, the next one is about It Ends With Us. There's no spoilers. I did not like Atlas in It Ends With Us, but I did like him in It Starts With Us. Everyone talks about how much of a good guy he is. He's the perfect book boyfriend and It Ends With Us, and he saved Lily. I would just like to point out, he was 18 years old and she was 15. And then he waited till her 16th birthday. And then, spoilers, they have sex. He's an adult and she's 15 and he waits till the day she turns 16. And then sleeps with her, and then, if you know, you know. However, they're both adults and It Starts With Us, and I really did like him in that one. I just, don't get me wrong, hate Ryle. I'm not one of those people that don't like Atlas because they like Ryle. No. Ew. But, you know? Next one is I rated Too Late by Colleen Hoover 1 star. Colleen Hoover is very much your hate her or you love her books in general. I have rated a lot of her books 5 stars. I really enjoy them. A big reason I rate them 5 stars is because I read them in one sitting because they're really fast and easy to read. Too Late. I'm not going to say too much because I can't on YouTube really, but I leave links down below to all my links are in one link. If you click on it, it will take you to a page of all the links. My Goodreads is on there. If you want to know the details of why I didn't like Too Late, I have a 1-star rant review on Goodreads that will explain everything. That is first person perspective of our word multiple times, and there is the only trigger warning in the book is this is a dark book, or like this is an adult book, this is a dark book. No mention of the fact that the whole thing is such an abusive relationship and so crazy. I'm just gonna read you one quote from the guy. And while we're on the subject of white dudes having non-consensual sex with chicks without repercussions, I'm pretty sure I didn't even have enough fingers on both hands to count how many times I've been inside a girl without permission. Hell, I can't even count the times I was inside Jess without her actually wanting me there. In all honesty, that's one of the only reasons I even bothered with her. I liked how much she hated me. Context, he's been jailed for some things that I've just mentioned. Connect the dots. And there's a guy who's not white on TV who's done the same things, and he's like publicly being put on blast, obviously, and everyone's hating him. But he's like, this is not fair because I'm not white. I don't get the media hating me, and that's not fair. I want the attention. The media should hate you. Check your privilege. And I'm going to calm down. If you want to hear my thoughts in more detail, look up the review. It also gives you all the trigger warnings for that book. Even if you don't usually think you have a trigger warning, please look it up. The only reason I finished it at the end was so that I could compile all the trigger warnings and let everyone know that this Colleen Hoover book is not one I would recommend. And the last one is I hated the Shadow and Bone trilogy. it's a really popular series, and I'm not going to hate on like the author's writing or go into detail about why I hated it, because honestly the main reason was I did not read fantasy at that time, and it was a heavy fantasy. The way I eventually got into fantasy was reading low fantasy and kind of working my way up. I shouldn't have started here, and I started here before Book Talk. It was like a year before I even got on Book Talk. And I didn't like it, but I heard I was supposed to read Six of Crows, which I loved. So no hate to the author. I really didn't like it. And that's probably another reason why I will never watch the series. I ended up really enjoying Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom though. But I didn't think it was necessary for me to read not Six of Crows, for me to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy when I knew I didn't like it from book one. I was not an audiobook girl at the time, and I had to download the audiobooks because my brain would physically not let me read it, but my brain kind of goes on autopilot when I put the audiobook on, so it will go in. It was not going in physically. I love audiobooks now, but at the time those were the first audiobooks I was listening to because I just could not with the paperback. And I think that's everything. It's everything I have on my list anyway. I'm probably gonna make a part 2 like in a few months or something, because I'm sure as soon as I post this video I'm gonna think of so many more. Let me know in the comments what one of your most unpopular bookish opinions. Like I said, a lot of these were more, it's split 50-50 and I was on one side or the other. I don't really have any sort of like crazy opinions, but some of them are unpopular, I feel. But that is all I have for this video. If you'd like to see more from me, please be sure to like and subscribe, as I make new videos every single Monday, and sometimes I do extras. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in another video. Bye!